Welcome to the Pod in Your Basement podcast, featuring Ben DeLessio and Joe Garza. They're alive, they're hungry, and they're opinionated.
All right. Welcome everyone to it's the second installment, Benjamin, of Horrorfest.
I think we've been doing it longer than 2 years. I feel like
No, I mean for this year.
Oh, for this year, yeah.
Yeah, for this year.
Yeah, week 2.
Yeah, week 2.
Correct.
And we have an old buddy of ours from our days at the Reckless Musecast, Jimmy Crackcorn. Welcome back to the show, dude.
How's it going, guys? It's good to be here. Glad you have me on. I love doing these things with you.
Yeah, man. We've been we're talking for a while, so about getting you back on. Of course, I think this is the best time to get you back on, dude. Yeah. Do you guys want to start off with? Have either of you guys watched any good horror movies lately? I'm sure that's a yes. But does anybody want to open up with something cool that they saw that they haven't seen before, or a newer movie that they want to do a quick little review on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an older movie, but I actually saw Hereditary for the first time the other day.
Nice.
Yeah.
What'd you
And
Thoughts?
my first thought is I finally get the Twitter meme that everybody does where it's just like, you know, the little girl's here and her head's like over here.
Yeah.
So I finally get that reference, but like it was really intense, man. Like that was exactly the kind of movie I needed because, like, I'm gonna be honest, my spooky season has been kind of lax this year. I'm going to school right now and been working a lot, so like I was like I really need something, you know, to like really kick this off, and that ended up being the one, and it was really good.
So I want to ask, because you're saying your spooky season's lax. Are you not the house that has the Jason Voorhees out on your porch all year?
All right, he's not on the porch. He's actually in the window. He's in the window now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's still here. But what I mean is this like, you know, we just haven't been watching like movies like we were last year. Like last year we were like left and right. We had something coming out, but this year it's been more selective.
Right.
Also, I was kind of getting into that Ed Gein monster thing on Netflix.
Yeah. How was that?
I'm gonna be real. I know a little bit about Ed Gein, and like his life is definitely not as exciting as this Netflix show. Like, but like honestly, I really like how it ties into like his influence on film.
Yeah.
You know, so like
Psycho, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Silence of the Lambs, and they even made like a few movies based on that too. I think.
Yeah, I think Buffalo Bill, even from Silence of the Lambs, has like Ed Gein kind of.
He's like the
Nis.
Yeah, he's like the OG sick freak. I know my wife actually just walked in. She sometimes doesn't like to be home alone and can be scared easily. And then the other day I catch her listening to an Ed Gein true crime podcast, as white ladies like to do. And I'm like, you know, you're afraid to be home, but then you're listening to a podcast about like the most evil serial killer who's ever lived. She's over there cackling.
So many women do that. They're like, I hate horror movies. I hate how gross they are, but I'll happily watch a true crime documentary about a guy who raped and murdered his wife and then raped her again and then chopped her body parts up. That doesn't freak you out?
This guy killed 12 hookers and then had sex with all of them. No, but it's like, but it's not. But actually, that's not even the tone. The tone's always like, oh my God, this guy killed 12 hookers.
Yeah.
And that is so gross.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about all of them in excruciating detail.
So real quick about Hereditary. Dude, I love Hereditary. That's one of my favorite movies. I think that's probably like my top 5 favorite horror movies. And so when I saw that in theaters, and I remember the first time I saw it, it was a pretty small crowd, but I remember when the movie ended, everybody just let out like a sigh of relief. Like we all just got off a roller coaster. We were all just like, shit, like that. Because that movie just ramps up tension so like it's just unbelievably it just gets higher and higher and higher, and you just have no idea like where it's going to go. It's also kind of a hard movie to categorize because it's like supernatural and there's some ghosty stuff, there's some culty stuff, but it's not like a straight up possession movie. It's not a straight up ghost movie. It's not, it just kind of dips its toes into different subgenres. So you don't know exactly what you're getting. When you're watching a zombie movie or a slasher movie, you kind of know like what the conventions are, what the cliches are. But with Hereditary, you're just like, I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know who's going to die next, if they're even going to die, what's going to happen. So yeah, that's one of my sort of like high water marks. Like that's true fucking horror right there. So I'm glad you dug that one.
It was really well made too.
Yeah.
Like you said, like how it just kind of amps up. Like the perfect horror movie to me has that balance where it's like it kind of eases you in, and then it kind of boils, like as you're sitting in it. You know what I mean? And that one really like you said, like by the end of it, I was like, oh, you know what I mean? I can't imagine what it would have been like in theaters because it was just at my house was freaking impactful enough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude. And I just remember there were so many times, and I watched it with a really good audience too, because there were some moments where when we're watching it where something scary, something creepy is happening, but it's dead silent. But then you just hear somebody in the audience go, "Holy shit! Oh fuck!" Like that scene where towards the end where the son, he's in his bedroom, he just woke up after breaking his nose, and then his mom is floating in the background, and you're just like, "Oh shit." I just remember like there's just multiple moments in the movie people you hear them like, oh my god, what's gonna happen next, where's this going? So no, that Hereditary is definitely one of my favorites for sure, man. Benjamin,
my thoughts on Hereditary, or
if you want, or if you there's anything else that you saw recently that
we've talked about that a good amount, so if that's all Jim wants to talk about. I mean, it is a classic of the highbrow horror, as so-called highbrow horror, which I think is cool. Like I like a diversity of horror, and I think I like Midsummer more. I don't know if it's the better movie. I think I just enjoyed Midsummer more. But I could probably watch them both again and change my opinion. So I texted you, jokes. This was a recommendation you made, Jim. I don't know if you've seen it. If you haven't, I will be quick. But Daddy's Head. Have you seen that, Jim? Daddy's Head?
No, I haven't.
So Joe recommended this. It is a British movie, right? I think it's England. And it's
it came out last year too, I think.
Yeah, it came out last year. It's 2024 movie, so it's relatively new. And a lot of horror, understandably, the motivation is grief. Like that's like the underlying kind of feeling of the movie, which I think has kind of been played out. So, and I'm not saying that there aren't really good movies about grief, and it is, I think, a really affecting topic, but it's just kind of like everything is becoming about that now.
Yeah.
But
I agree with that.
Right. But this was I think this was a really good movie. It is, a young father dies in a car accident, and then it's like I don't even think they're married. Are they married? Yeah, they are married. So it's his wife, but then his son from a different marriage or a different relationship. So it's kind of awkward. And she even says she never wanted kids, but she's raising this young boy who's probably around 10 or 11 or so years old. And it's a creature feature, but it's unlike anything I've ever seen before. It's very plain, very basic. It's like super fast. it crawls around, but on its face, if you want to call it that, is the face of the deceased character, of his daddy, of his father. And it's really weird. It's like super unnerving.
And I think the way I described it was like he had like the body of Gollum from like the Lord of the Rings, like this very kind of lanky humanoid body, but then he's got like a human face.
Yeah, and you find out why it has that face, and it can also kind of change its face as a really cool voice that's almost like staticky. It's mimicry, right? It's like mimicking those around it, and it's just like a really well-made movie. It's fairly simple. There's only a handful of characters. It's not nearly, I think, as like produced as like the Babadook, which a lot of people kind of associate with. I don't know if it's the start of this genre, this like subgenre of grief horror, but definitely it's definitely like one of the staples of it. At least I feel like the Babadook, because it got memeified, and and it was a good movie, but I think a lot of movies have tried to just copy it. But this is really good. It's freaky and weird and somewhat scary. I don't want to give anything away because you haven't seen it, and you can stream it, I think, on like Fawsome or something. So like a free. It's not like it's on. It's hard to get. So I would highly recommend it. John, if you want to add anything that I missed there without giving anything away for Jen.
Yeah, without giving anything away regarding the plot, the cinematography is terrific. I love the use of shadows. There's some like wonderfully creepy scenes of just this human face, gradually coming out of the shadows, and you only get brief glimpses of the body, which I think works really well. Even though it definitely didn't have a huge budget, I thought like there's some wonderful use of shadow. They definitely made a lot of they got a lot of mileage out of like limited locations. And I think it's available. At least it was available on Shudder, I think. It's out there.
I think it may have been a Shudder movie. No,
yeah, I think so.
Wasn't it a Shudder original? Maybe I watched it on Fawsome, whatever that is.
Well, if it's a Shudder original, it'll probably be on Shudder.
Yeah, I would think so. So, yeah, I mean that's my most recent. I mean, I literally watched that last night.
Yeah.
I watched The City of the Living Dead.
Oh,
it was really bad. I did not like that at all. I get there's a handful of like kind of gross practical effects scenes. Fine, like those are okay. They really go, the barfing guts is classic, but they really go for like the back of the head grab brains thing. I'm like, oh, all right, you kind of go back to the well on that one after like the sixth time. Like you find another way to kill someone, but I'm just thinking about what else I've watched this horror film.
Lucio Fulci, he's kind of known. I've watched 3 or 4 of his movies, and apparently he loves stabbing his characters in the eye. I mean, not literally, but he likes having his characters get stabbed in the eye and the head. It's like he did that in Zombie. He did that in The Beyond. He did that in a few other ones, but yeah, like there's always like an eye gouging scene or a brain stabbing scene or a brain ripping out scene. So yeah, anything above the neck, he just hates apparently. Yeah, City of the Living Dead. I watched that years ago, and I went through the zombie phase when I was a teenager, and I love the gore effects, especially like the drill scene, the drill going through that. But it's like that scene like came out of nowhere. Like it's just like that father just committed murder. Like he just
like brutal murder because he found a guy in a car. It's not even like they were in flagrante delito. They were just like sitting. I think they were smoking weed, right?
Yeah,
and he just brutally murders him.
And so I think even if he punched him, because the guy he killed was like had a reputation for being kind of a creep. Even if he punched him, like he's like I'm pretty sure he could still be charged with something. But like it's just like I'm gonna drill press you, your brain. Like it's just like
I also don't really get that. I don't want to spend too much time on this movie, but they film in Savannah, Georgia, which is like one of the most iconic southern cities in America. Like it has a very distinct look to it. but it's supposed to be like New England.
Yeah.
Like what? I mean, that just set the movie in the South. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's like kind of dumb shit like that. And the reason for it apparently is because they don't have like union laws down there, so they could just I swear they could just like fly in. That's why when I'm watching this movie, like the opening credits, there's all these Italian names, and I'm like, wait a minute, is this an Italian movie? Right. I've watched lots of Italian horror, but I didn't realize this was one. Yeah, but it's like, no, those are all just like the extras who they flew in, so they didn't have to pay union costs and things like that. But
I will say, The Beyond is decent. It's even more. It makes even less sense, but I feel like it's almost David Lynchian. It's very dreamlike. We're just like, okay, this is just him just kind of making shit up on the spot, and they shoot it in New Orleans, which you're fond of. Yes. Yeah, The Beyond is pretty trippy. It's pretty cool. It's not great, but it's it's definitely better than City of the Living Dead. I think
it's an experience.
It is. And even City of the Living Dead, as crummy as it is, I would still watch it again with like a group of buddies over like pizza and beer and shit, where it's just like we just watch like a ridiculous over the top movie.
Yeah, those movies can be fun. Don't get me wrong. But I think for instance, I think a good version of that is like Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Like that's a pizza, but it's a good movie. Like it is fun as great practical effects. It's ridiculous and fun, and
it's intentionally cheeky. It's intentionally kitschy and goofy. Yeah.
Like City of Living Dead. There's a scene where like they. It has nothing to do with horror, but he's like in the therapist. He's a psychiatrist, psychologist. By the way, he's just gaslighting the shit out of people, and he's in it, and he's like in a session, and this woman just walks in. Yeah, and just like starts talking, and it's like that's not how therapy works. You can't just walk in on someone's session and like make yourself at home. I don't know, shit like that. That I'm like, that's just dumb.
Yeah. Awesome, man. I'm glad you love City of the Living Dead. Yeah. I'll go through mine really quickly. The most recent horror movie that I watched within the last few weeks is Nosferatu, the Robert Eggers one.
Oh, had you seen it?
I hadn't seen it. No.
Oh,
so
really?
I watched it. Yeah.
Oh, I liked it a lot.
I liked it a lot too. I thought it was incredibly well shot. I thought it was very well acted. I loved the attention to like historical details. I thought what's his face? Pennywise, Skarsgård did a wonderful job as the Count, Count Orlok. I thought it was incredibly atmospheric, and I love the score. I love like how like screechy violins and like opera singers just howling works incredibly well in horror movies.
We need people like Eggers, because like period piece and this could be a good segue into the next topic, but period piece movies are tough to do. Yeah, and a lot of times they don't. Like Ridley Scott has said this, like the Last Duel movie I thought was great, didn't do well because I don't know, it doesn't appeal to a lot of people to have like two knights fighting in a period piece France 14th century or whatever. But like I love that shit. And Eggers, if you look at his filmography, it's like The Witch and The Northman and Nosferatu, and these are like
Lighthouse.
What was the other one?
The Lighthouse.
The Lighthouse. Yeah, these movies take like lessons in dialogue and costuming and set design, all this stuff that is not easy to put together. So it's really like a love to do it. And apparently his next movie, I forget what the setting is going to be, but something again that's really interesting. And I want to support that kind of artistic work, because it's just going to go away. Yeah. If it's not, because then someone could just make another kind of typical money grab movie that they know is going to have a return on investment, and that's all we're going to get.
He's doing a sequel. He's doing a sequel to The Dark Crystal or whatever.
He is?
Oh no, sorry, Labyrinth. He's doing a sequel to Labyrinth.
Oh, okay.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. But that's not. I heard maybe it was not his next movie, but something he plans to do. Was
the next one of the ones is Werewolf. It's set, and this is on Wikipedia in 2026. In medieval Britain, a mysterious creature stalks the foggy countryside, transforming local folklore into terrifying reality as villagers face an ancient supernatural threat. That sounds awesome. Count me in.
That's cool. Yeah. I'm all for. So like, do we want to move on to the next topic?
Yes, please.
So I mean, I guess I'll just go because it's kind of following this topic. Is like I love medieval history. I would love to see more kind of medieval horror, like medieval set horror movies.
Yeah,
I think it can, like, whether it's zombie movies or like a werewolf. When I mean medieval, I'm talking like 5th century to like 15th century, and like anything in between there, kind of pre-guns. I think you have a lot of fun with that like weaponry to fight whatever the creature or the zombies are. You can mix in there like a lot of religion and superstition. I just think that can be like I'm surprised that there aren't more movies that take place in that time. I don't know. You can have a lot of like inexpensive, there's a lot of castles throughout Europe that don't get a lot of use. I'm sure you could have like a single location, kind of like instead of the mall in Dawn of the Dead or the house in Night of the Living Dead, you could have like a castle and a bunch of people like coming together, a bunch of handmaidens and cooks and peasants or whoever, knights coming together to fight back hordes of zombies. I think that'd be really fun. And I don't know if that exists. Nothing I know of.
Kind of. I mean, if you've ever seen Army of Darkness, like, I have. That's kind of like that.
Yeah, I've seen Army of Darkness. It's not my favorite. I love Evil Dead. I love Evil Dead 2. Army of Darkness, I think, has some great one-liners. I think that's some of the best one-liners, but as a movie, it's not my favorite. But I see what you're saying. That's also kind of fun because he's from the future, so he has like a shotgun and shit. So
it's a boomstick.
Yeah, his boomstick. It's good. Groovy.
There is it's not pre-guns. It's not medieval, but there's a movie that came in the late 90s or early 2000s called Brotherhood of the Wolf. It was a French production, I believe.
Okay.
It took place in, I think, 17th century or 18th century France, I think. So, getting close.
It's like early modern age. Yeah. That's when what was the plot?
It's really nuts. It blends a bunch of different genres. So it's actually partially based on a true story. There was reports in the 1700s of a supposed like a monstrous werewolf attacking the French countryside.
Right. Yes. Yeah. I know the story. Yeah.
Yeah, so the movie's partially based on that. So the French government sends like some assassin guy and then like a Native American out to go like kill this thing.
Native American? How do you get over there?
I don't know.
You get back here.
But it's funny because like the movie blends a bunch of different genres. So like it's partially horror because there's this giant monster that's attacking the countryside.
Yeah.
It's part like adventure, like almost like Indiana Jones, like a couple of men going out into the wilderness and they encounter a bunch of different like adventure stuff. There's like political intrigue because like there's like I think it takes place just before the French Revolution, so there's some like political turmoil going on. There's like a romantic side to it. There's
it's French, so of course there is.
And there's a lot of like martial arts in it too for some reason.
Okay.
It's a really nutty movie, but it's like it's not like a masterpiece, but in terms of just being like a really fun, cool, like over the top movie that blends a bunch. And this came out in the early 2000s. Brotherhood of the Wolf.
All right, that sounds cool. I will check that out. Yeah, I think there's a video game. I don't know if either of you guys are really gamers. I think a video game came out recently that's exactly what I'm talking about, which may have been where I got the idea of. It's like medieval England and it's zombies.
Yeah.
I don't know anything other than that. But I thought, because it's funny, it's like you can fight zombies and you like go and pray at a chapel. And it's like it's a very immersive game.
I love Army of Darkness. I just wish they'd have called it the Medieval Dead. I think that would have been like a really cool.
Yes, that's missed opportunity.
It's a missed opportunity, but
I thought like. So Jim, do you like Army of Darkness?
Yeah, I love all those.
Yeah.
All those movies, and even the TV show. Like, I love them.
Okay.
Oh, Masters of the Evil Dead. I haven't seen it, but I heard it's really good.
I've seen a little of it. I would definitely watch it. I love Evil Dead. We were talking about that like 2 episodes ago. Like the second one, how it's not a full remake, but it's also not a full sequel. It's like
because they didn't have the rights to the first one, so they kind of had to remake.
Original Evil Dead is unbelievable, and especially with that budget, it was just like iconic. And I love Evil Dead 2, if you want to call it that. I even like Evil Dead the 2016 version or whatever. I thought that was good. We talked about, Jim, we did an episode about movies that have been either marketed, I think, as the scariest movie ever made, or like that sort of thing. And I remember that from back then. It's like, oh, this is the scariest movie, and it's like, do those movies live up to it? Usually, no. But I thought that was a very scary movie. I thought that was good, but a lot of other movies are not even close. Yeah. But anyway, I just thought Army of Darkness gets too goofy, and I know that there's campiness and silliness in the others, but especially the second one. But it just kind of went too far for me.
Yeah, I get a kick out of it though. Maybe because I love the Three Stooges. So, and I know Sam Raimi is a big fan of that. Like they all grew up on that. So I love the slapstick shit. But that's fine. I'm not going to stop you from being wrong. Okay, so you want a historical, and I actually agree with that. I think that's like, it's funny because horror has expanded into so many different subgenres. I think horror is the only genre that has so many subgenres.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems to rarely touch history. So yeah, I think that would be pretty cool. What about you, Jim? Is there like a specific type of horror film where like, I want somebody to make this, or maybe you're going to make it at some point, but is there like a dream, subgenre or type of horror movie that you haven't seen that you would love to see?
See, that's interesting. Kind of like I want to see the hybrid of this genre. So it's like, if you're gonna have a movie that is about like a cult, you know what I mean, like throw a UFO in there. You know what I mean? And it's just like, but so randomly that you're just like, like makes the people think like, what the hell just happened? You know what I mean? So it's just like, I like when they kind of mix them together, So I feel like, if I end up like making movies, at some point, that's what I would want to do, is like, I would want to push, the genres to be even more expansive, you know what I mean? So like, but yeah, like I even had a story kind of written out that was kind of like what I was saying, that like, it's very culty, you know what I mean? But it's just, but
what kind of cult?
So it's like, it's an all girls camp, but but the whole thing is like the boys live on one side, they live on the other side, but like nuns run it. You know what I mean? And as they're there, like it kind of like ramps up, and like their lessons go from like being less religious and more like cult like and abusive. Like, so that's kind of where I was going with that.
Yeah, I like that. I like the idea. It actually, is there, Jim, have you ever seen Night of the Creeps?
Yes, I love that movie.
That's a cool one, because that one also blends a bunch of different subgenres, because it kind of blends like zombie, alien invasion, and slasher, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, like it's definitely more on the campy side a little bit.
That's exactly what I'm talking. And it's
no, that was cool. It has what's his face, who's been in a bunch of Tom Atkins.
Yes,
love that guy.
I actually met him. I met him. He's really, really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and he's been in a bunch of John Carpenter movies too. Ben, you've seen this guy, Tom Atkins.
What's he on?
Tom Atkins. He was in Halloween 3. He was in Escape from New York. Okay. Like he did a lot of. I mean, like it's funny because he's actually a great actor, but like
who's in Escape from New York?
He played an agent or something like, or like.
Yeah, I mean, I recognize the name. I can't picture him right now, but I'm sure.
If you Google him, you're like, oh, that guy. He's one of those guys. You're like, oh, that guy. He's in that show, or he was in that movie. He often plays like a cop or like some kind of like authority figure, but like who's also got like, he's got a warmth to him too, where it's like he plays like the badass sheriff who's also like, hey, don't worry, I'll give you a ride home. Okay, come on, let's get you home, kid. Like you know what I mean? Like he's like that kind of like he's got like a fatherly figure aspect to him too. But which is why he shows up in so many like 80s like B horror movies. But yeah. So is there like a specific mix of subgenres that you would love to see in one horror movie, Jim?
Let's see, like if I had to like do a real good mix, like I would want to do like the serial killer versus like some zombies.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like where as this movie goes on, you get kind of farther away from like hating the guy because he's a serial killer and more want him to live. You know what I mean? It's like, the zombies are gonna get him. You know what I mean? Like, I think that would be kind of cool.
And it's fun because like I feel like it's such a difficult thing to do, but it's been done well a handful of times. I mean, like when you said that, like I immediately thought of From Dusk Till Dawn, because it starts off like a Tarantino crime movie, but then it turns into a vampire movie halfway through. Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's a difficult thing to do, but yeah, I love that. Subverting expectations, and like kind of switching in between genres. Yeah, is that something that you're experimenting with in your own kind of creative hobbies? You don't have to give too many details away, but is it something that you've been kind of playing with?
A little bit, like like I said, like like when I get into what I want to do, and like start putting my work out there, I don't want it to be like what everybody would expect. I want to kind of push barriers, you know what I mean, and open up like new ideas and stuff like that. So it is something I'm kind of experimenting a little bit with, and is especially now that I'm in school, stuff like that. Like I'm getting better at like formulating my ideas, you know what I mean, and putting them down on paper better, and it's easier to flush them out.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. Are you taking filmmaking classes right now?
Yeah, like right now I'm in like a media management course, like intro to sound, stuff like that. But like last semester, I took a couple writing classes, and one was like writing for film. So that was kind of cool because like it kind of showed me that you can bust out a 10-minute screenplay, in a matter of a couple days, and have it be good, and it was cool because like my classmates were consistently interested in whatever I was writing about. So it was like, oh, so it's also good. You know what I mean? So, that's what I want to do, is I kind of want to get my own little setup, like it, like bare bones, and just make 10-minute movies, like, and just like concept films. Because if you notice, like, a lot of these movies, that's where they come from anyway. Like it just resurfaced, like, again after a couple years. But it's like the Encino Man. I don't know if you've ever seen Encino Man.
Oh yeah.
That was based off like a 10-minute thing that had like Keith Coogan in it. You know what I mean? Like, and I think Ben Stiller was the caveman in it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
is the original short? Is it out there? Like, is it like on YouTube or something?
Oh yeah, you can find it on YouTube, I think.
Nice.
So it's like you should definitely watch it, because I think it's worth it if you like that movie. But that's the kind of what I'm talking about, though. It's just like you can come out with the proof concept, and you don't have to put a huge budget into it. You know what I mean? You can kind of flesh out the idea and give it, like give it to somebody to kind of take it and run with it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that's what I'm going to start doing, is getting into making like 10-minute films, and maybe start like a YouTube channel where I just like, play them all.
Yeah.
Sweet.
The guy. So did you ever see Skinamarink?
No, I've been holding out on that movie. Like I heard it's really weird, so like I just haven't had like the mood for it. You know what I mean?
So
Yeah.
Skinamarink, I feel like comes up like every 3 episodes that we do. Like during the Reckless Musecast, like it comes up so often because I really disliked it. And I always am torn. I'm like, maybe I was too hard on it because I don't know. I saw it again, full circle. It was marketed as like the scariest movie made, like the scariest movie of the year, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing the trailer for it when I was in a theater watching, seeing a different movie. And I was so excited for it. And I thought it was a like kind of pretentious and went on for about 45 minutes too long. And it was not very scary. I think I might be in the minority here, but I really disliked it. So if that, gives you any, if everyone's saying how great it is, I'm not of that thought.
I liked it a little bit more than you. I thought it had some great scenes, but I think it should have been whittled down. It should have been like a 30-minute short film, not a feature length 90-minute.
That's what I've said. Yeah.
And by the way, he actually did this. So that movie, and it's on YouTube. He did make before that filmmaker made Skinamarink. He made a movie called Heck. And it is like 28 minutes long. I heard it's very good. I haven't seen it yet. But the reason why I bring up Skinamarink is because that same filmmaker, Jim, he's got a YouTube channel called Bite-Sized Nightmares. He hasn't been too active with it in the last couple of years, but he has a series of very short horror films. And they're pretty, they're kind of weird, kind of artsy, kind of experimental. But what I love about it is that each one is, what he did, I think he went on Reddit and he said, hey guys, share with me your nightmares and I'll go through them and I'll pick the ones that I like or that I think are really creepy and I'll make them into a short horror film and I'll put it on YouTube and I'll reference you. And they're not, like they all kind of vary a little bit, but like, he does a wonderful job of like, creating atmosphere within, and it's obviously like he's shooting in his house or his friend's house, but it's like with creepy lighting and with creepy sound effects and an unsettling narration. He's great at creating like these wonderful little bits of just bizarre, unsettling terror. And like I said, some are scarier than others. Some are kind of bland, but it's like, I love the idea of just like, hey, just give me an idea. I'll shoot it in my bedroom. I'll shoot it in my living room. I'll shoot it in my backyard. I'll shoot it in a really cool way. And I'll shoot it in kind of a weird artsy way. But I love the idea of just like, yeah, I'm just going to like take something simple and just stylize it. It's just pure style. Maybe it's not lacking. Maybe it doesn't have a whole lot of plot and depth to it, but he's just kind of going for it. But it's called Bite-Sized Nightmares. And that's one of those things where it's like sometimes like when I'm going through a creative rut, I'm like, I don't know, I'm just not feeling it right now. I'm like, this guy made a pretty cool little short horror film. It like, in one room. And it was only like a minute and a half long and it's pretty creepy. Like if he can do that, then yeah, maybe I shouldn't be so down on myself. Maybe I should keep trying,
Jim.
Jim, check it out when you get a chance.
If you want, I wrote a short story back in high school that then I rewrote when I was older called Hallucinogenic Jimmy. And it's about a kid who gets caught in like a gang shooting, is killed, kind of buried out in the woods, and then mushrooms grow like up from his body, and then whoever eats those hallucinates him, and then he like kills them. Right? If you want to turn that into a script, I'll sell it to you for $1. You can write that. You can write that script and make a movie for it.
Yeah,
because I would love to see someone make that.
That's actually really awesome. See, that's cool. Like that you bring that up about like making movies and like in just like one room is that's the kind of filmmaking that I really respect. Like, because, you know, like with Evil Dead, you know, he was kind of just using what he had. You know what I mean? He had access to the property, so he's like, let's go make a movie out there. You know, Clerks, you know, a Kevin Smith's movie, like that store has become so iconic just because it was someplace he worked and had access to at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, I think a lot of times people overthink the equipment and they overthink, you know, the location and stuff, and forget that, you know, sometimes if you got a really good story, you know, you can just sell it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, absolutely, man. Yeah, because like it forces you to be creative, and especially, you know, like I think horror often gets a bad rap because you know, there's kind of an over reliance on like the superficial aspects of horror, which is like, okay, it's got to be gory, it's got to, you know, we got to have, you know, a hot actress being chased in the woods. So it's like, you know, there are a lot of things where it's like, yeah, I can't really afford that, or I don't really have the production. But it's like, I think you could, you know, somebody who really understands horror, who really understands fear. It's like you can make a single location creepy if you light it well, if you come up with an interesting premise. I mean, like, I'm sure that we can all, I mean, you know, Ben and I, you know, often talk about like the Blair Witch Project. It's just like three people wandering around the forest basically for an hour and a half, but it's like, it's very creepy. It's very unsettling.
Yeah.
So, you know, I love when a filmmaker can creep me out with very limited, you know, a small budget and resources. And it's just pure ingenuity on their part. So yeah, I mean, you know, it is frustrating when you see a movie, you know, big Hollywood movie that costs 10, 15, 20 million dollars and it sucks, or like an even bigger budget. And it's like, you should have spent that money like on a rewrite of the script, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
So do you have like a camera and stuff?
Came out.
What's that?
Oh, I'm sorry, you were cutting out. I thought you stopped.
No, go for it.
Like I just watched this movie. It did really bad in theaters, and I understand why. It had a good concept, but it's called Bring Her Back. I don't know if you've seen that.
Oh,
I haven't seen it yet. I heard it's good.
I thought it was really good.
All right, I thought it was good, but the thing is like I feel like that's one of those movies that kind of suffered from like one of those, like, you know, you probably could have, like, you know, restrained yourself a little bit and maybe rewrote it. You know what I mean? Because it's like it had good visuals, but I've seen other movies kind of do the concept better. You know what I mean? The whole demon possession thing and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it was about grief.
Yeah, and again, it was like about grief. You know what I mean? I kind of wish they would have like dove more into the supernatural part of it and kind of away from the weird shit that was going on, you know, in the house that led up to it. You know, it was a bit of a misdirection, but I feel like it went on too long. Like, I don't know. That was my complaint about it. But yeah, like, so, like, I don't know, like sometimes it's like a movie has a good concept, you know, but it just doesn't have a good delivery. You know what I'm saying? And I think, like, in my opinion, that was like one of the cases.
Joe, did you do what you would want to see made?
Yeah. I love surrealism a lot.
Don't say.
I love horror movies that aren't afraid to be
we'll cut that.
So one thing that's been inspiring me a lot lately is paintings and photography, and I love that because and you know, I'm definitely not like a hardcore art connoisseur, but I love when a painting can imply a whole story, and I also love when you get into more like the surrealistic like paintings. I would love to see more of that in horror films. And you know, when you're painting something, you don't have to deal with things like a budget or like executives saying, "Oh, this is getting too big. We have to cut this down." I love when it's just like some really bizarre, weird, unsettling panorama. And I would love to see much more of that in horror films, because I think so often horror films are just, especially in mainstream horror films, the horror element is very clear cut. It's just like it's a slasher or it's a monster or it's and don't get me wrong, I love a lot of that stuff too. But I'm like, take me to a really weird, bizarre place that I've never been to ever. Freak me out, creep me out, confuse me a little bit. I'm definitely, as I've mentioned many times on the podcast, I especially at the Reckless News, I'm a huge fan of David Lynch. I love how he creates bizarre, weird, unsettling, dreamlike scenarios, and I would love to see much more of that combined with surreal horror. So I think that's something that I've been leaning more into when it comes to the stuff that I've been, kind of dabbling in. You guys ever see that movie? I think it was kind of a Lovecraftian one. And it was kind of a body horror one too. It was what was it? Is it like Into the Beyond or Into
I don't think so.
Into the Void, I think it was called, or Beyond the Void.
Enter the Void.
Maybe that was it.
I think it's just the Void.
I think it was just the Void.
I thought okay. I think there's also a movie called Enter the Void, but
but that was like a French one.
Yeah.
No, not that one. Not that one. Yeah, it was just the Void.
It
came out 2016. That one kind of came close. Was starting to get it was starting to get kind of Lovecraftian, but I thought it was a little too watered down with kind of generic kind of horror cliches. But even though it did have a lot of great prosthetic effects, a lot of cool like body horror practical effects. But I loved like the idea of like, there's like this like other dimensional, kind of like Lovecraftian stuff. I would love to see much more of that, where it's a little bit more of like a psychedelic acid trip rather than just like, oh no, like we're being chased by a monster sort of thing.
Do you know what's something I watched recently that kind of is what Jim was saying, where it's a blend of subgenres? It's not exactly that, but Martyrs. Have you seen?
Oh, yeah, we were talking about this.
Yeah, Jim, have you seen Martyrs?
Maybe.
It's like I think you'd remember if you've seen it, because it's one of those movies. It's like pretty infamous for its content, and it's French. They did remake it. It's the remake apparently is terrible, but it's like a French movie from 2008. And it like starts out. Well, I watched a YouTuber who said like it starts out at the. It feels like it starts at the end of a different movie, and then starts this movie, and it is in the beginning like a revenge, kind of really jarring revenge movie where, let's just say, like sympathetic characters are killed and you're like, oh my god, and that's in like the first 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then it goes into a really insane plot of, how do I put this? Well, I don't want to say anything because I think it's a big giveaway, but let's just say I really dislike a subgenre. I really dislike would be, I guess the pejorative would be like torture porn. This is like a Hostel type movie, but actually smart and done well. And some people hate it. Some people think it's basically just Hostel or a movie like that. I don't. I think it's really good. Like I mean, there's a religious element to it, and I'm attracted to that sort of stuff. But I think it's just like so strange, even the characters' motivations, and up till the very end, I think it's an excellent ending. And I think that might be. I would really recommend that you watch this movie if you haven't seen it.
I'm gonna be honest. I think I've seen this movie years ago. Like I'm sitting here, like I'm kind of like looking it up as you're talking, and like I think I've seen this. Like,
all right. Well, if you haven't, or if I don't, I'm surprised because the end, like what happens to these characters is really disturbing, but not to the point. Like it's one of the few times that I think a character can go through something like this sort of torture, but it's not gratuitous and it actually like makes sense. But anyway, so if you think later about it, let me know about like if you think that's kind of the type of movie that you like, because it seems like a blend of different subgenres that is a strange blend. It's not just like a werewolf and a vampire or something like that. It's like, oh, this is like a bloodbath massacre type movie turned into this torture-ish plot movie.
I'll check it out. It's one of those movies where it's like, do I really want to see it? Like a Serbian film. Have you guys heard of it?
I have heard of that.
I've heard of it, but I don't think I want to see it.
Yeah, and it's funny because like I say that as someone who's got a pretty strong stomach, but I've heard what some of the scenes in that movie. I'm like, I don't know. That just feels like it's just gross for like just like needlessly like mean-spiritedly gross. But I don't know. I might check it out at some point.
What are some of the hits in that? Is it like the such and such scene that it kind of?
If I'm not mistaken, I think there's a scene where a woman has a she's quite pregnant, and I think she has her baby stabbed out of her. So I'm like, I don't know if I need to see that, especially if it's just kind of and there are even worse movies out there. There's one movie I won't even say what it's about. I haven't even seen it, but it's called Slaughtered Vomit Dolls, I think it was called.
Yeah, no, I don't want.
Yeah, it gets to a point where it's like, okay, this is just gross, and it's just not even. There's like nothing really redeeming about this. But okay, if there is a subgenre that you don't like, but if you could like rejuvenate that subgenre, and you're like, this is how it should be done, what would it be? Do you guys have like, we didn't plan on this, but like, do you guys have like an opinion on this?
Well.
So Ben, you kind of talked about like the torture porn element, where it's like most of the time it's done in a kind of dumb, cheesy way, but it's like with Martyrs, it was done kind of like a high. Would that be like an example of like?
I guess, but I don't even like. I think Martyrs for me personally is a huge exception, where the vast majority of that type of movie I just have no interest in.
Yeah,
where it's just kind of like sadism.
Yeah,
and again, like Hostel, like that time period was known, like the late the 2000s. Like Saw, Saw. I think after the first maybe two, it just gets kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
But so no, I wouldn't say that really for me, because one, I don't really want to watch too much of that. Like as much as I liked Martyrs as a film, like I didn't really enjoy watching it. Like it's not an enjoyable experience.
But that's what I'm saying. Like if you're like, I don't like this horror subgenre, but if I had a chance to do it, here's how I would do it.
Well, yeah, I get Jim. Do you have something, or should
I? See, my whole thing is like vampire movies. Like I kind of hate how they're either the cliche, like Dracula thing going on, no offense to like, Dracula and Nosferatu fans or anything like that, but it's either that or you got some kind of like, like new wave vampire, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, that's where you get like your Lost Boys and your Twilights and, your True Bloods and stuff like that. I don't know. I like if I had to do it, like I would take it back and make it really primal. And I think it's interesting that you brought up like medieval like movies earlier, because I feel like that would be a very good setting for a good vampire movie, because it's like, you know, it is kind of old or whatever, but you can make, you know, the creature even older than them, you know.
Yeah.
Because again, like very, very prime, romantic, you know, like it's not coming in your window and making out with your daughter. You know what I mean? It's it's more or less, it's the kind, it's the thing that's taking your kids in the middle of the night. You know what I mean? And like that kind of thing, like, you know, more of a boogeyman. Like, I don't know.
No, you're absolutely right. And I actually wrote an article for the Reckless Muse saying, I think it was called "Stop Making Vampires Sexy," and so that was my subgenre that I was going to pick, where it's just like vampires have become so watered down. They're either like kind of like, you know, the tortured handsome guy. It's like, I don't, you know, like I'm this dashing, you know, handsome guy, but like, you know, but like, I have to feast on people to stay alive. I hate that. It's like, and that's one of the reasons why I love Nosferatu. It's like, oh, finally, this is a vampire who's just truly, genuinely evil. This is actually like a straight up monster. I love that, and also, and the primal thing is interesting too that you brought that up. Almost every culture, almost every civilization has some kind of vampiric legend, and sometimes it's humanoid, and sometimes it's like it's some other like non-human creature. But like blood sucking has just been something that's been around in humans like for millennia. So I would love to make vampires scary again. And not just be like you know, either like a horror comedy, like a Nick Cage. Oh, Nick Cage is playing Dracula, sort of thing, or like a handsome, you know, kind of dashing, tortured villain. It's like, no, vampires are sucking your blood. They're feasting on your children. This is something that should be terrifying you. So I would love to. That would be the subgenre that I would love to remake and turn the vampire into some like disgusting, degenerate creature of the night, and not some handsome young man or you know, Nick Cage or something. But no, I mean, like, you know, think of it like a vampire movie set during the Crusades, where it's sort of like,
that'd be sweet.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That'd be so sick. I guess I'll say zombie movies. So I love zombie movies overall.
Yeah.
But one thing I can't stand. So I just watched the 28 Years Later, and I really liked it overall. But one thing I can't stand is like, it's like in, you know, did you see Jurassic World? Like the all the way back, like now I think they're remaking it again or whatever. Yeah. Like the first set of remake, I think the first one was like 2014. Yeah. Where I just remember laughing when they're talking about why they made Indominus or whatever it's called, Indominus Rex. It's like, oh, kids have, you know, it wasn't enough for T-Rex. Now we had to genetically create a new scary. It's like, it's a fucking dinosaur. Like, no, the kids would still go see dinosaurs and be like, oh my God, it's a dinosaur. They're not just everywhere. They're on like this one island.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to get to. And they're still like, it's like that logic. And I feel like that happens with zombie movies where like in 28 Years Later, there's like they call them the alpha. And it's like a bigger, faster, smarter zombie. I'm like, I don't like that shit. I like my zombies all being the same, kind of mindless creatures, because it's already a scary enough concept. It's like you have these hordes of sometimes like your loved ones coming after you to rip your neck out. Like that to me is enough to just make countless movies in different settings, in different time periods. It's a great way to put different types of characters together. And I think, so it's not like redoing the genre, but kind of going back to like a Dawn of the Dead or Night of the Living Dead or, you know, these zombie, like even the 28 Days Later, where that's like the rage. Again, people argue those aren't even really zombies. It's like the rage virus or whatever. But it's not this, like in 28 Years Later, there's like a pregnant zombie and it gives birth and it has like this sort of sentience. And I just like roll my eyes at that shit. I can't stand it. I like cut that stuff out. They're already scary enough. Like there's already enough there. I don't care about what's going on in the zombie's brain. It's the same thing in
Right.
what's the one that came out like 2021 maybe with Dave Bautista, and they're like in
Army of the Dead.
Oh, Army, yeah.
Army of the Dead. Same thing
Yeah.
there. They're like smart and creating like a society. I'm like, that's not why I'm watching a zombie movie.
Right.
So I guess that would be my what I like getting back to the basics of zombie movies that are always enjoyable. Like they're always fun. Just don't when you start making them too stupid, as in too smart, you make the movie stupid by making them smart. I just get taken out of it.
No, you're right. There is something about like zombies being like these like purely primal entities, and when they start developing communications and when they start like developing like okay, well, you're not really a zombie anymore. Like even you might be feasting on people, but you're still like you're not as mindless anymore. So well, it's funny because like George A. Romero, who I love, and I love his original Night of Living the Living Dead trilogy, and even Land of the Dead was pretty cool, but like he barely flirted with that in Day of the Dead, where it's like, oh, there's one zombie who's starting to gain a little bit of sentience. Like even that felt like kind of.
I don't like it.
I mean, it was like, oh wow, you're taking this in a crazy new direction now. Like, oh, interesting, all right, but he didn't lean too far into that. I think he started to a little bit like with some of the other Living Dead movies, but yeah, I mean, I think zombies should be just mindless. Devouring creatures, and when they start getting smart, it's like, well, then you're not really a zombie anymore. So,
what
about you, Jimmy? You got any other like subgenres that you're like, this needs a revival, this needs to be rejuvenated, or maybe it needs to be taken back to its roots?
Let's see. Alien movies. I feel like when it comes down to it, like everything's Alien or Predator. You know what I mean? I think it was kind of cool in the very early days of like Alien movies. Like think about like Independence Day and stuff like that before they made it lame. It was like an invasion coming. Killer Clowns is another good example of that. It's just like the Blob. Like it was very like cool to like watch a movie about freaking aliens back in the day, but now it's either like another Xenomorph movie or another Predator movie, and it's just like it's getting exhausting, and it's just like don't get me wrong, I'm still gonna show up and I'm gonna see the new Predator movie that's coming out, but it's just like, is that a franchise that they could give it a rest? Yes. You know what I mean? I did watch the Alien Earth TV show, and it was kind of a letdown. You know what I mean? Like it had cool elements to it, but it's just like, I don't know. It kind of takes away from the canon of the original one, and it doesn't quite line up with what actually happens in the movies. So it's just like, I don't know. I just wish that we would get away from that and make aliens cool again. You know what I mean?
That's a good one, because the more you show of those creatures, the less scary they become, the less mysterious they become, and it's like, then you start doing like the spin-off and the crossover thing. It's like, okay, now you're just kind of running out of ideas. Now it starts feeling like a kid pitting a G.I. Joe against Buzz Lightyear. You're just like, okay, like what else can I do? You're just like slamming random things together. The first two Alien movies are terrific. And the first two Predator movies are terrific. And then it just kind of felt like, hey, how can we find some other way to wring some money out of these franchises, right? So there's a Lovecraft story that, and it's funny because like even he kind of noticed this back in like the 1930s. He thought that alien stories were too non-alien, because like so oftentimes like the alien that shows up on Earth was very humanoid. It was just like, oh, it's like a lizard man who shows up on Earth, and then he brings his army of lizard men, and they're invading the Earth. He goes, so he created a story where it's like it's genuinely, we do not understand what this thing is. It is invading us, and we can't tell if it's a combination of like, is it a germ? Is it an entity? Is it a force? We can't see it. And in fact, I think it was actually made into a Nick Cage movie, The Color Out of Space. I think was
yeah.
But I think you're right, Jim. Like, you know, alien movies, that's something where it's like, I mean, like the word alien itself, it means like, you know, foreign, like, you know, misunderstood. I would love to see an alien horror film where it's like, this is something completely unknown to human consciousness. We don't know how to deal with this, rather than just like a guy or like a puppet, you know, hunting people down. It's like, okay, it's not mysterious enough. But anyway, we should probably start wrapping this up. But Jim, dude, it was great catching up with you, man. And it's always a pleasure. And yeah, dude, keep us posted on what you're working on. If you start releasing some short horror films, let us know. We're more than happy to help pimp that out, dude.
Yeah, right on. Like I said, a lot of work in school right now, but like, you know, we do get breaks and stuff like that. So yeah. I think when my next break, I'm going to kind of focus on putting something together. Cause again, 10 minutes is not hard to come up with. You could do that in a couple days and pretty much like, you know, get it ready to film. So we'll see.
Yeah, man. So can you share with the audience where they can find you?
All right,
or do you not want to be found?
I mean, you know, like I hang out on Twitter. You know what I mean? Yeah. You can Fresh Start 69, and I believe there's like a dash between the fresh and the start. So you know, so yeah, you can find me on X, not Twitter.
We still say Twitter. It needs your parts.
We're old school.
Yeah.
But again, dude, thank you so much. It's always a blast catching up with you, man. And everybody check out. Sorry, we have a sign off, and I keep fucking it up.
See you in the basement.
See you in the
basement. Joe has not gotten it yet, but it's all right. We'll get there. See you in the basement, Jim. See you in the basement, Joe. You remember.
See you in the basement, everybody. All right.